welcome to my Bolty UV. I am Jim, and we're going from point A to point B. So climb in. Let's go. The news media loves to report failures. They love to exploit and exaggerate things they don't understand. They love to sensationalize things that happen rarely and fearmonger the weak-minded, the non-thinking, and the sheeple of our society. Take, for example, just as an example, the issue of EV fires. Electric vehicles are provably 60 times less likely to catch fire than an ICE vehicle. But point out that fact, and the pea-brained will retort with this quote: "Yeah, but once an EV catches fire, they're impossible to extinguish." You see, those are the types of people who are brainwashed by the sentiment surrounding the popular stories in social media, and they are eager to or incapable of learning the truth about anything. Here's the truth about thermal runaway. Remove the heat from the battery and it will be extinguished. Again, you have to remove the heat. Learning how to remove the heat is key. It takes more water, yes, that's for sure, but not 60 times more water than it would to extinguish 60 gas-powered vehicles. The number of fires is even higher for hybrids. They're about 130 times more likely to catch fire than an electric vehicle. But I digress. Another example of those who don't think are those who support Donald Trump for president. The typical non-thinking, fully clowned out petrol head typically makes this famous quote: "I can't wait for President Trump to end the EV mandate when he takes office." But those who think there's an EV mandate are once again dead wrong, completely wrong. Maybe they should take time to read the EPA report like I did. It's a bit more than 200 pages long, so I would not expect a petrol head to be able to focus that long. So here are two facts about the emission standards that prove that there is not an EV mandate. Not to mention the fact that the EPA does not say anywhere in the report that a vehicle manufacturer must manufacture EVs. Anywhere in that report at all. But here are two things. The proposed standards are projected to result in an industry-wide average CO2 emissions target for the light-duty fleet of 82 grams per mile in model year 2032, representing a 56% decrease in the projected fleet average of greenhouse gas emissions targets relative to the existing 2026 model year. Now, for those of you who can think, you will realize that it says, if there are emission standards for CO2, doesn't that mean your car is still going to be burning gas? That's point number one. There's still going to be gas-powered cars in 2032, and probably well beyond that. Number two, car companies are free to meet those emission standards by any means they wish, using a mixture of electric vehicles, hybrids, and gas-powered beasts. If they want to continue to produce gas guzzlers, they can offset that by producing more zero-emissions cars, like electric vehicles. So in reality, it's not an EV mandate. It's a mandate to keep building dumb, worthless, piece of crap cars that kill people with tailpipe emissions. That's what it really is. Just with lower tailpipe emissions, but still with tailpipe emissions that kill people regularly. 2,500 a year on average. But here's something even more important that most people don't realize about what President Trump has said about cars. In all his rhetoric against EVs, he had this to say, and I'm quoting him directly from a speech that he gave in Pennsylvania. "I'm constantly talking about electric vehicles, but I don't mean I'm against them, I'm totally for them." Now let's get to the meat of this video, the challenge, the EV challenge specifically. I have owned two Chevrolet Bolts, my first starting in October of 2019, so about 4 years ago. It's a 2017 Bolt that I drove for 65,000 plus miles. And then I own this 2023 Bolt EUV, which I've driven for over 40,000 miles. I know and I understand EVs better than any of the clowns you see flashing over my shoulder right now. These people literally do not know their butt from a hole in the ground. But, you know, I want to just issue a challenge to everybody out there who is anti-EV. I dare you to take this challenge. I double dog dare you. First, go to a nearby EV station, find someone charging a car, and talk to them. Do that 40 or 50 times to 40 or 50 different people, and I'll guarantee you that more than 80% of them will love their EV. And I'm not talking about people who are renting EVs from Hertz or TURO or somewhere else. I'm talking about the actual owners of the car. And don't talk to salespeople either, because salespeople, unless they own an EV, know nothing about them. Number two, if you really want to drive and understand what an EV is all about, rent one from TURO. Do not try to drive cross country in that car that you rent, but take a trip 200 to 400 miles long and get all the information you can about the car you're renting from TURO from the person who owns the car. And do that for a minimum of 5 days. Don't drive anything else, just drive the EV. Now, secondly, if you are in the market for a new vehicle and you're considering a lease, consider leasing an EV, because you can get them for substantially less money than you can a gas-powered car. And finally, if you're looking to buy a new car, configure the features you want in that ICE car, and then configure the same features in an EV and compare the prices side by side. And since EVs have virtually reached price parity with ICE vehicles, you can no longer use the excuse they cost too much. Those days are gone. So if you are into finding out the truth about EVs, and you should be, because they're going to affect your life in the future, you should stop trusting the media, the ones you see flashing over my shoulder, about anything to do with electric vehicles. They don't have your best interest in heart. What I challenge you to do, again, is to go out and talk to people who actually own EVs. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm somebody who's not out to make money on my channel. This channel has super likes and super gifts that you can give me. That's fine. I'll take your money. But most of the money that I make off this channel comes from advertisements on YouTube. And that ain't much. Less than $100 a month. So I'm not making any money on this. I'm here to do what I do because I believe the future is electric vehicles, and I believe they're better for you and your pocketbook, and they're better for the planet overall. Now, those are the truths that I have been uncovering for the past 4 years, and it's taken me quite some time to come around to believe in man-made climate change. I've even started another channel, Fractured Climate. Do find that channel and look at it. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to ask for money. I've turned sponsors away so far, and the only money I will ever ask for again is that what you can give me through super user, super chat, super thanks, super likes, whatever you want to call them, and the money that is generated through the ads. I cannot be bought by anybody. Sponsors, nobody. I'm always going to give you my honest opinion. I cannot be cornered. And I'm not going to take money from big corporations. I'm not in this for the money. But what I can do is stand firmly in the face of lies, of the FUD and the hate, and say this far, no further. And the faces you see streaming across the screen over my shoulder, again, are the liars, the FUDders, and the haters. They're providing information that they're bought and paid for to provide to you. I'm telling you that what they say does not matter, because they do not have the same level of experience with an electric vehicle that I do. They're not EV owners. They haven't driven them for 100,000 miles. They haven't done the research that I've done. I'm going to put a few links in the description below to some of the better channels that bring you the truth about electric vehicles. Just plain old folks like me who love their cars and are proud to bring you information about those cars. I'm going to do a video on them in the future, but not anytime soon. But I can tell you that 99.99% of the stuff you hear from the anti-EV channels is pure nonsense. It's just nonsense. It is designed to fire you up into believing things that are not real. And as my wife, who you will all meet real soon in a future video, says to me often, you're getting yourself worked up over something that has not happened or is not real. So sit back and relax and wait for it to happen before you start reacting to it. So what have we really learned today? That the anti-EV crowd does not give a rip about anyone except their bottom line. There is no such thing as an EV mandate. That's all something that somebody has made up based on what they think a particular set of regulations might say from the EPA. Car companies can reach the EPA standards any way they wish to. If they want to invent a car that gets 100 miles per gallon and doesn't put out a whole lot of CO2 emissions, I'm all for that. And my Bolt EUV is here to stay. And I'm not going to be taking people's money, and I'm not going to be taking bribes. I'm just here to help you learn. And I hope that you can understand that and see that. I'm passionate about what I believe in. I'm also passionate about not putting up with the nonsense, and I'm not going to anymore. So I want to thank you for stopping by and taking time to listen to what I have to say today. I appreciate your time and your trust, and I hope to see you all again real soon. But in the meantime, remember, treat everyone with kindness, put a smile on your face, help someone today, and pay it forward when someone does the same for you. Take it easy, everybody. I'll see you all again real soon.